Hello, my name is Posture Ellie, or Ellie, and I am a postural alignment therapist trained in the Egoscue method. And today I thought I would do a shortish video to explain a little bit more about who I am, what I do, and kind of what I'm all about really. So I've had the summer off, having a lovely time traveling and gallivanting around, and now I am back. I am looking forward to working really hard and helping people learn to move again. And I just thought that now would be a really good time to kind of introduce myself so you can know a little bit more about the crazy lady who tells you that your posture and how your body moves will change everything about how your body feels, because truly I believe that it will. So like I said very briefly, I am a postural alignment therapist trained in the Egoscue method. Look it up if you haven't heard of it already. And basically my job is absolutely not about teaching people how to sit or how to stand or pull your shoulders back or anything like that. This is not about that kind of old school view of what posture is, this very static, upright, stiff positioning. But actually what posture is all about is how the joints in your body interact with one another. So in a nutshell, what I do is help people unpick the sticky, stiff, dysfunctional parts of their body. And because they have got so used to living in this body over 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years, they start losing track of actually what normal feels like. So the stiffer and stiffer that they get, and the more and more their body compensates around this stiffness, they forget what it feels like to move well and to move fluidly and functionally. And what my job is basically teaching people how to move correctly again. And by correctly, that is not about making sure that your knee is in this perfect place or making sure that you're standing up straight as you do this thing. It's trying to teach you, your brain, your body, what a full range of movement feels like at every joint. So you probably don't even know the ways in which you're stiff because your body is not going to those end ranges of movement within the joint. So at a pace that your body will manage, this is what I do with my clients. So I have a very wide spectrum of people. I deal with children. I have people in their 80s. I have people that have been in car crashes or had acute traumas. I've got people that were born with things. The vast majority of people have their issues because of lifestyle and habit. And I don't mean that in a kind of blaming way that they have been doing something that's particularly lazy or different to anybody else, but how that person sits in their car. If they have a 3-hour commute every day, will probably have an impact on how well their body moves. If that person is sat cross-legged at their desk all day, that will probably have an impact on how their body moves. If someone broke their arm riding a horse when they were younger and then never moved their arm correctly again, that will have an impact on how they move. So it's teaching people these ways in which their body may have started going wrong and starting to unpick it all. I'm really upfront with the fact that I'm not medically trained. I've got no interest in being medically trained. You know, I'm not a physio. I'm not a doctor. I'm not an orthopedic surgeon. I don't care about itises, osises, opathies, whatever syndrome you've been told you have. All of those things are irrelevant to me. They don't mean anything to me. I could look at your MRI and it would mean nothing more to me than it does to you. I work within the limits of pain. Up until very recently, all we had to work with was what our bodies told us rather than x-rays that take pictures of things and show you images of what's going on. We listen to what your body wants. And if you learn to listen to what your body wants and doesn't want, believe you me, that's going to serve you much better than seeing an image of something that then frightens you to do anything about it because you can see this damage. I don't focus on the syndromes or the itises or the opathies because those things don't tell you why you are getting that wear and tear in that place in the first place. I am focusing on the bits of your body that don't work very well and waking them up. And this is done through very gentle corrective movements. And as I said at the beginning, look very different depending on who you are, what your condition is, and how immobile or mobile you are. My past was that I used to work in corporate jobs pretty much for all of my 20s. I became increasingly more and more unhappy with where my life was going. I just was like, what am I doing? I hate all of this. I literally don't care about anything that I'm working towards. I don't want money. I don't want a flashy car. None of this stuff is important to me. I just want to do something that I enjoy and that I care about. And that's how I started getting into movement. So a couple of years ago, I discovered yoga. And when I got into yoga, it's so cliche, like I kind of hate myself for this, but I got into yoga, and not only did I reap the physical benefits of moving more, but I also really got into the psychology and the kind of mental awareness that yoga brings to you. Like, it really did change my life discovering yoga. And from there, that's how I got into movement therapy, which is what I do now. So I went from being the stiffest person that I knew of my age. I couldn't touch my toes, I couldn't kneel, I literally couldn't do anything. Like, you know, when you see all those bendy yogis and you're like, oh my God, they're crazy, how do they do that? I was that person. I was so stiff. And I realized that I'd just been lying to myself. I kept telling myself that I was naturally inflexible. I was born this way, you know, oh gosh, my limbs are too long because I'm tall. Tall people love to make excuses about how their tallness means that they can't move properly. Yeah, you know, I just kept telling myself like, oh, it's just naturally, like, my body's not built this way. And it was just, to be honest, a load of rubbish. I hadn't been doing the right things to keep myself in the condition that I should have been in. You know, I was sitting down too much, not moving enough. And what do you expect? That your muscles can hold themselves functionally? Of course not. That makes no sense. So I taught myself movement, obviously with the help of others, in my yoga classes. I taught myself movement. I became obsessed with it. And I realized that the older I get, the better and stronger I am feeling. So I appreciate that in some respects my age works against me, because, like, in the grand scheme of things, I'm not that old. I'm 31 at this point in time. I'm not that old. But like, in the last 4 years, I feel strong, I'm flexible, I've got amazing energy levels, I never suffer any pain, touch wood. You know, my body feels amazing, and it's getting better month on month because I'm exploring movement in new ways and pushing myself to my boundaries. And that's what I want to teach my clients. It's trying to take this kind of like age thing out of the equation. Your age isn't the thing that's causing you the problems. It's a stacking of bad movement habits over a lifetime. So there's this correlation with age, but it's not because you're 65 that you're having your issues. It's because you're 65 and you've sat in a chair for most of those 65 years, or you've worn shoes that have restricted your movement, or your shoulders spend all day doing this and you never put your hands above your head, so you lose that range of movement at your shoulder. So yeah, I'm kind of just talking at the camera here, but yeah, like, I'm teaching myself movement, feeling better month on month, and that is what I want to bring to my clients. It's trying to reclaim this joy of movement, regardless of age, regardless of what your current condition is in. Everybody can learn to enjoy movement if they are starting at the level that is right for them and moving in a way that makes sense for their body and is working for their body, not against their body. As a person, I like to think of myself as being extremely positive, especially when it comes to kind of like business stuff. I really am positive. I've seen so many people get better who were absolutely sure that they could never make a difference. They'd seen all these expensive orthopedic surgeons and had all these things and seen all these experts and visited all these people, and they were sure that they could never get better. And actually they did get better when they took this more holistic whole body approach to movement, rather than always zooming in on where that issue was presenting. So I'm very positive. I always work from a place of positivity. You know, I don't need to tear anyone else down to bring myself up. Like, I focus on myself. I want to be the best at what I can be, constantly learning, constantly exploring, constantly being open-minded that I don't know best and there might be something better out there, but until I know that better thing, I'm going to stick with what's working for me at the moment. But just always working from a place of positivity and having an open mind that actually, okay, maybe I'm going to listen to this person and perhaps this thing might change how I feel if I give it a go and actually stay committed to it. So yeah, I'm very positive, but on the kind of flip side to that, I'm really honest as well. So I don't, excuse my language, bullshit my clients. Like, I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear just because it's easier for me to say that. I will give you the honest truth, which is sometimes not nice to hear. You might have to hear that something that you have been doing for many years has actually been working against you. And if you want to get better, why not try this other thing and just leave the thing that you've been doing for a long time and see if that makes a difference. And you might be like, damn it, that thing that I've been doing for 40 years has actually been working against me. Probably the biggest example of that I can think of off the top of my head is orthotics. So lots of people get given orthotics They wear the orthotics for years and years and years, get more and more back pain, knee pain, hip pain, whatever it might be. And I'm like, why don't you just take that out just for a week and see how you feel? They take the orthotic out, the knee pain goes, the back pain goes, the hip pain goes, and they're like, should have tried that years ago. So yeah, like I'm really positive, but I'm also really honest, and I have to live my truth, which sounds cheesy, but I'm not going to be disingenuous with you because it will make you feel better. I'm going to tell you what I believe to be the truth, and you take it or leave it. And I've got hair in my mouth as I say that. And the reason that I do this is because I cannot imagine doing anything more rewarding than my job at the moment. There is nothing more rewarding than giving people the power to change their lives, which sounds very, very dramatic. But if you are somebody who is crippled in pain and can barely get out of bed without being in pain, or can't sleep because you're in so much pain, you can't walk because you're in so much pain, all of these people I deal with on a daily basis, by the way. You might be watching this thinking like, oh, she'll never have seen someone in as much pain as me. Most of my clients are in significant amounts of pain at the beginning anyway. But there is nothing more rewarding for me on a selfish level to give people the tools that they need to fix themselves. I don't fix anybody. Like, I'm not a miracle worker. I'm not doing anything to you. I'm teaching you the tools that you need to change yourself. Some people are ready to do that and some people aren't. So if you're following my page or watching what I do thinking like, oh, what's magic trick is this woman gonna tell me to fix my body? There are no magic tricks. There's no quick instant fixes to everything. I'm giving you the tools in which you can learn to explore your own body and where those misgivings might be or where those problems might be. And then I'm teaching you ways to get out of these kind of movement ruts and stickiness and stiffness that your body's got itself into. So I do this because I want to help people change their lives, and I can't think of anything more rewarding than doing that. It's brilliant. Like, I really, really love what I do. I really, really care about my clients, and I like to think that I'm in this for the long haul. I can't really imagine doing anything else now because I think about posture and I think about movement all the time. And I'm just, as I said earlier, I'm constantly exploring it. I'm constantly trying to learn, and I stay very, very open-minded. I don't think I'm an expert. I think I'm interested in something. I don't think I'm an expert, but I see this as like my life's mission to continue to explore until I can be the best that I can be, although I don't think I'm there yet by any means. So this was a little bit of a rambly video, but I wanted to just sort of jump on here, say hello, and do a bit of an introduction as to who I am, what I'm all about, and what I do. And if you are interested in working with me, then please do have a look at my website, www.posture-ellie.com. Info on how to get in contact with me, my various different services, and hopefully I will be working with some of you lovely people, soon as I'm getting back to work with my one-to-one clients. So thank you for listening, and goodbye.